All right, guys, just so we graphed exponential growth functions, now we're going to go exponential decay functions, just kind of the opposite. Instead of it growing, it's decaying. First slide gives you tons of information here. You get some good notes here. The parent function is f of x equals b to the x power. The difference today is b is going to be a fraction. That's how you know it's decay. If it's a fraction, if it's less than 1, between 0 and 1, it's going to be decay. And look what the curve looks like. It's going the opposite direction. As you look left to right, it's going down. Yes, it's going up. The x-axis is still an asymptote. It still crosses at 0, 1 usually, or the parent one always does. The domain is the same as yesterday. The range is the same as yesterday. The only difference is the shape of the graph is going down instead of going up. All right, a quick example here. It says y equals 1/2 to the x power. It's decay, again, because that's a fraction in there between 0 and 1. It's 1/2, which means it's going to decay. I went ahead and set up an xy table here to save a little bit of time. Negative 2, 4 would be right here. And if you think about it, if you put a negative number in the exponent, it flips the fraction. That's why it became positive 4. Same thing with negative 1. It became 2 because the negative flips the fraction. Put in 0, you do get 1. Anything with 0 power is 1. 1 is 1/2. 2 is 1/4. You can see the general decay shape shaping up here. And if you draw your graph, you just connect the dots, la la la. Try to hit them all just like that. Don't forget the x-axis is an asymptote. Let's try another one here. Y equals 2 times 1/4 to the x power. Again, it's decay because that's a fraction. The fraction is being raised to the exponent x. I plugged in 3 points here. I plugged in 0 because it's the easy one. Anything to 0 power is 1, so it's 2 times 1 is 2. I plugged in negative 1 because that flips the 1/4 and makes it 4, so 2 times 4 is 8. And I plugged in 1 just to have something on the positive side, which made me get 2 times 1/4, which is 1/2. So if I plot those points, 0, 2 is here. Negative 1, 8's way up here off the screen somewhere, off the graph anyway. 1, 1/2 is way down here. So that's going to be a steep decay. And the reason it got steeper like that is because there was a 2 in the front. It was a vertical stretch by 2. And that's why this point right here was not at 0, 1. It was at 0, 2 because it got stretched up 2. All right, another one. Y equals negative 3, 2/5 to the x power. Again, it's decay because it's a fraction between 0 and 1. I put 0 in there first. That's a good one to pick because anything to the 0 power is 1. So I did 1 times negative 3 is negative 3. That point is down here, 0, negative 3. Negative 1, I put a negative 1, which flipped the fraction, which gave me negative 15/2, which is really negative 7.5, which is way down here off the screen, off the graph again. And when I put in positive 1, I got negative 6/5. So I got that. Now, this is a negative in the front, which means don't forget negative reflects across the x-axis. So my graph is still exponential decay, but it's been flipped across the x-axis, so it's going to look like that right there. Should have predicted that. All right, one that has everything in it. This one's got a vertical stretch by 3. It's got a horizontal shift by negative 1, or shift left 1. That's going to be shifted down 2, which means my asymptote is now not the x-axis. My asymptote is negative 2, so my asymptote's right there. I went ahead and did the same thing, picked a couple points, plugged them in. Plug in negative 1. I picked negative 1 because that made my exponent 0, which means the 1/2 becomes 1. So it's 3 times 1 is 3 minus 2, which is 1. So when I plugged in negative 1, I got 1, which is right here. And then if I plug in negative 2, it gives me 1/2 to the negative 1 power, which flips it, which is just 2. 3 times 2 is 6. 6 minus 2 is 4. So if I plugged in negative 2, I got 4. And that's enough because I know the asymptote down there, so my graph will do like this. And I could have graphed there anyway because remember, usually we have a point right here, 1 above. It got shifted left 1 and down 2. I've already shifted it down 2. Sorry, my point's usually here. It got shifted left 1, down 2 to here. But then there's a 3, so I had to go up 3 from the asymptote to give me that point. So you can also do it that way if you want to, if that makes more sense to you. Just do all the shifting that we've always done. All right, one more thing here. Formula for exponential decay models. I gave you one yesterday for compound interest. And compound interest grows. Oops, sorry about that. It's exponential growth. Exponential decay is going to make it go down. Formula is a little simpler. Just y equals a. A is what you begin with, whatever amount you begin with. R is the rate that it's decreasing. And t is the time it takes, or how much time passes. Let's look at an example real quick. A new snowmobile costs $4,200. The value of the snowmobile decreases by 10% each year. So these formulas used a lot for depreciation. I recopied the formula right here. See what I have it? It says write an exponential decay model giving the snowmobile's value after 2 years, which I did right here. The initial value goes right here, 4,200. That's my A. My rate was 10%. It's going down 10% per year, and it's going to be 3 years. So all I have to do to figure that out is punch that in my calculator, and I'll have the value after 3 years. Let me go punch that real quick. All right, when I punch that in, I got this. I got $3,061.80. You might want to punch it in right here too. Make sure you get the same thing so you feel good about your calculator steps. And that's all there is today. This is a good section because it's a great review of what we did yesterday with the growth. It's just the opposite, just decay instead of growth. So we'll work on it tomorrow like we always do. I'll see you then. Bye.